the game. In games like this, we woke up, we ready. We here to take care of your business. It's time for us to go out there and be us. Let's do that today. You feel me? Let's go, baby. Stand there on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great night to play football. Great night to be this golf. Everything you love, everything you hold dear. So we need. Everything we're doing inside these lines matters.
Go for it all down the other side of the field is batted away and intercepted.
3rd and 13 into the end zone. Kosecki, touchdown! What a catch! 14-yard snare.
I stay ready.
Pickett in the middle, he's intercepted. Trying to force it in. Big play by the captain of the Dolphins defense.
You got it right where you want it. You got it right where you want it. You got it right where you want it.
Under by Lower. And caught for the touchdown, Waddle.
On the blitz, loose ball, inside the 5, to the end zone, touchdown Dolphins. Melvin Ingram cleaned it up for the touchdown.
Here they come. Oh, he's hit from behind. It's loose. It's picked up by Ingram.
Hey, everybody get their heart rate back down. Relax, and then get ready to go. Let's go, man. Hey, this is our day. Take advantage of this, man. Ain't nobody gonna come in and try to rush you. Trust me. Like, keep doing what you guys doing. He's gonna come for it offensively, all right?
Tua stepping up, getting it to Mostert in space in the end zone. Touchdown Miami. Tua to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Kosecki.
I'm not you had. Understand on 3rd down. Like, let's be ready to be aggressive.
Stevens trying to play it out. Not going to be able to get outside. Mostert with running room to the 10, the 5, touchdown.
We running that ball, boy.
Yo, yo, yo. We got a brand new episode, something brand new. Welcome to Broken Takes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the premiere episode of a brand new show here on the Fins Tailgate. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We got something that we're going to make some magic on this show. It's something different, something new. I got my boys in the back. How's everybody doing? Let's bring them up here. What's up? What's up? What's up? We got color commentary. We got King DTA. How you boys doing today?
Hello, sir. How you doing?
Very good. How you doing, DTA?
What's going on?
Not much. Welcome to Broken Takes. As you know, as I've told you guys, and some of you may be aware of, this is from my personal channel, but this is now new to the Fins Tailgate. They'll be coming around every so often. This will be a much shorter show, a little bit more intimate setting. We're going to be talking it up. We're going to be talking about some of the craziest things going on in the sports world today. Let's start off with this great subject. Before we actually get into that, let's shout out to our sponsors here. So shout out to Fanatics. Make sure you use the link below. It helps out the channel. Get your officially licensed team gear. Some real good stuff they got there at Fanatics. They sell everything from jerseys, hats. They got the helmets. They got signed helmets. They got those all-pro Nike jerseys, like the ones that the actual players wear and everything. They got some crazy stuff there. Definitely check it out. I just bought my Tua jersey there. You know, maybe MVP Tua jersey. So we'll be talking about that. But yeah, definitely use the link below. It helps out the channel. Also, shout out to Backroom Collection. They got some really awesome artwork, canvas stuff that they have for the Miami Dolphins and other sports. They also sell accessories for those mini helmets if you're a collector and other stuff too. And they have some really good quality stuff. They do some custom work. Check them out. If you'd like to save 10% off, 10% off your order at checkout, please use code #TFTG at checkouts. Also, speaking of that, We got our merch. Yep, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We all have our merch. Check out our link. We got everything from active wear, athletic wear for both men and women. We also have t-shirts and stuff for the kids, all different colors, hats, all that kind of stuff. These awesome pint glasses that I want to get right here to put in my man cave. I definitely want to get those. We got some cool coffee mugs and tumblers and other stuff. We got some flags and different things that you can get from our merch store. Definitely check it out. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, if you'd like to donate to the channel, we do currently accept Cash App or Venmo donations. Just look up the money sign Finn's Tailgate or the Finn's Tailgate on Venmo. Definitely check that out. We really appreciate it. We thank you for all your support, and we definitely want to see comments as well. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, gentlemen, welcome to Broken Takes. Now, the audience may not be aware, but this show is a little bit more intimate setting. This is where you bring the bombs. You bring crazy takes. That's why we call it Broken Takes. So I'll start off with one. So today it got announced that the Buffalo Jills, or the Buffalo Bills, better known, have been moved. Their game with the Browns, which everyone was expecting to be, 6 feet of snow, is the Snow Bowl, as we like to call it. I was excited for it. Football is all about weather. That Thanksgiving, playing in the mud, snow, rain, doesn't matter. You're taking the fun. It's all the fun playing in weather like that. To be honest, that's what I look forward to. Well, they've moved that game from Buffalo to the Detroit Stadium, the Detroit Lions Stadium, meaning that the Buffalo Bills will be playing back-to-back weeks in Detroit. How does that make you guys feel? We'll start off with color.
Man, I tell you what, leave it to the Buffalo Bills, who know nothing but how to make their fans miserable, making the rest of us football fans miserable. If you're a fan of football, you would have been excited for this game. You'd be ready to watch a game like this. Look at the game that happened with Green Bay and Tennessee tonight. Cold, miserable, little bit of snow, that's drag out, knockdown football. And guess how it was won? It was won in the trenches. You know what I mean? If you're a fan of this game, just like Buffalo disappoints all their fans every year for the last 30 years, they disappointed the entire NFL this week. This is absolutely ridiculous thing I've ever heard, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. How do you feel about GTA? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Well, honestly, man, I don't know. The whole thing, like I said, I guess I could kinda, and I'm only gonna give it a little bit, but kinda understand maybe if they're gonna use the excuse of safety. All right, whatever, But at the same time, how much further do we allow this to go? And that's the way I see it. Like it especially became a hot topic with weather games and inclement weather games this season. And what's odd is that, and ironic to me, is you've got, and for those that don't know, Buffalo has gotten plans approved, if I am understanding correctly, for the new stadium that they're having built, and at some point they'll be breaking ground. Well, they're also taking, it doesn't really matter where the money's coming from. Let's just say that they have a rich owner, but yet they're using money that was allocated from something that could have helped other people. But regardless of that, that's just Bills fans and Bills ownership being Bills fans and Bills ownership. So anyways, they're taking that money and having a stadium built, and it's an open air stadium. So they're bitching. Can we cuss on here?
Sure.
Okay. They're bitching about weather and that being an issue. So they have to move the game to Detroit. All right. But then on that same note, to the flip side of that coin, you're building a stadium that's open air in one of the most snowy cities and snowy places, in the U.S. It's just ironic to me. And, at what point, when does it stop? To me, are they going to be coming for the next games, bitching about the heat in Miami and say, oh, you know what? It's too hot. It's too hot for the Buffalo Bills. So we need to move to a neutral zone, a neutral site. Like that's you want a hot take, my broken take? There's a broken take for you. I think that's what's coming next is they start coming after the Miami Dolphins games, well, especially when the Bills play, using the heat as an excuse. And a good example of that is I don't remember a time. I know that it's been talked about, but I don't remember any time up until the season when it became so pressing. And now, when you're playing the Vikings, when you're playing uh, the Steelers, when you're playing who we just played last, the Cleveland Browns, and when you're playing the Bills, all these teams that we've played at home, you guys notice that they have those big round, they look like clocks, but it's a thermostat, and they have them sitting at the visiting side, and then they have them sitting at the home side to show the heat differential. I mean, this has never been an issue before. I don't understand. People got to play in the snow. That's part of football. That's part of professional football. You know that you'll be playing hot days. You'll be playing, and weather games like having snow or rain, wind, sleet, whatever. That comes with the territory. These people sign up for this. They're being paid millions of dollars. And that's also part of the entertainment factor. Seeing games like that, seeing snow games. So again, it's hard for me to say, okay, well, maybe they're erring on the side of caution for safety. Okay, maybe a little bit. But man, I'm telling you guys, my broken take, I think they're going to be coming for the next games, saying the thing that they're going to be coming for is like the Miami games, saying it's too hot to play.
That is a very good point, DTA. In fact, I think the Buffalo Bills are starting to become the NFL's personal darling, which means in turn, they will bend over backwards to suit their narrative to use the Bills as a tool, to be honest. If you look at this whole season, it's been about Josh Allen constantly. It's been about the Buffalo Bills. Everything that you see spewing from the NFL network and down, the Bills, this, the Bills can do it. What will Josh Allen? People are calling Josh Allen MVP before it was even, before the season even started. That's just how it is. I mean, you look at it also, you mentioned, the safety portion of it. Well, what about the safety of the fans? They have to travel through that weather. If you can't play a game with, that much snow and using a snowplow, first of all, who's to say the fans are going to be able to travel long distance? Granted, from Buffalo to Detroit, if you're traveling stateside, it's only a 5.5 hour to 6 hour drive at most. I get that, but still, if it's snowing, that's dangerous for them to travel in it. You know what I'm saying? I get
100%.
that. Now, the other part of it, if you look at it, is the players. Are they really that scared of weather? I mean, you looked at what happened to them last year against the Patriots in the Fog Bowl, if you want to call it that. They were playing in the fog, and it was like crazy, it was like fog and wind, I believe. Is that right, Color? It was like fog and wind they played in that game, and
Yeah,
they
and
lost.
that's not the first time that's happened recently either.
No, it hasn't. Now, they also played against us, and they complained about weather. Oh, the weather this. Why be in Buffalo, bro? Just move your team to a more suitable location if that's really the issue. I find that you're taking away from home field advantage. You don't see people in we just watched a game at Packers Stadium and everything, people complaining about the cold weather and the frozen tundra. You don't see people complaining about it. In fact, let's look at it this way. So we say that football is a really badass sport, right? Physical, badass sport and everything, right? A lot of people on the other side say that soccer is not quite a badass sport. Well, let's look at this. The U.S. men's national team on February 2nd of this year played a World Cup qualifying game, right, in Minnesota in minus 12-degree weather, bro. Minus 12 degree was the coldest, one of the
Wow.
coldest ever recorded soccer game. And what if you want to think, well, they're just, it's not that bad. Well, it is that bad because if you think about it, in the NFL, after you're done with your series, you can go back to the bench and they put on these ginormous like blanket coats on you to keep you warm or whatever, right? Soccer players don't get that option. They're in that cold playing in freezing temperature. They had players like borderline hypothermia going on and everything. That's how cold it was, right? In fact, the Minnesota Vikings, they felt bad. They actually provided to all the players those little like what do they call it? It's a little like It kind of looks like a fanny pack, but you put your hands in it to
Oh
keep
yeah,
warm. You know what I'm talking about?
hand warmers, the cuff warmers or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't
Yeah.
allowed to wear them on the field, but they gave them to everybody on the sidelines to hold on, to use them and everything. Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings for that. But that's some stuff. You think about it, they can't just go to the sideline to warm up or anything. Because once they get subbed out, you're out. So they have to continuously plan that. What I'm trying to say is the Buffalo Bills are a bunch of pansies. Let's be real. They couldn't get it done on prime time in the playoffs. It took them 13 seconds to lose to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Mahomes, right? We all know that. They can't get it done against the Dolphins because they had to blame all the heat. Oh, this, that, the other. Now their quarterback's injured. Their whole let's be real, their whole season, as Color said, was one injury away finishing third in the AFC East. And that's exactly what's happening, right, Color?
Absolutely. Possibly even fourth. I mean, look, nobody was complaining. And, sitting Arrowhead Stadium. Early in the season, they have the same thermometer out there sitting on their bench, clocking at 115 in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
And in the same season, I'm sitting there watching the Dolphins play at Arrowhead in 19-degree weather all day. I mean, really, people, the job I had in St. Louis, I'd be on a roof at 2 in the morning in 2-degree weather, handling zinc equipment made out of zinc. In the blinding cold and snow. And these guys can't go out and have fun and play a football game. If there's lightning involved, if that's the question, we're talking about thunder, snow. First of all, it's not like a thunderstorm like you think as far as the lightning and thunder. But even if we were made to play an 8-hour-long football game because of lightning, did anybody move us to Tampa Bay that day? No. So show up at 1 o'clock, start the game. If it's too dangerous to play because of lightning, you sit there and wait just like we had to. Not 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
So the thunder snow, according to the New York Post, is affecting Buffalo right now. They're hitting them pretty good. They're getting 3 inches every hour.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And are they expecting another wave of that on Sunday? Because
I don't
usually
know.
that's kind of like an event that happens, and then you got a week or two before it happens again.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. That is a good point.
So for those,
the snow event will last long, but that doesn't mean the thunder event will last that long. You know what I mean? The thunder event is usually like when the front comes in.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't educated on what thunder, or what they call it, thunder snow or lightning snow, is like myself, I don't know too much about what that is. Is there any way that you could give us an explanation on?
Yes,
explain what
it's
that
actually is? It's actually exactly what it sounds like. It's a mesocyclone, a thunderstorm that happens to be in fall or winter, where it's cold enough to produce a blizzard or a snow. It's literally a thunderstorm blowing snow at you instead of rain.
So I guess, where does the danger come in?
Because first of all, you can't see the lightning when it happens.
Okay.
It's usually a nice loud a deep clap out of nowhere, Again, I don't ever remember when I was living in St. Louis, we had frequent thunder snowstorms. And I maybe have heard the event 3 times, the actual sound of thunder during a snowstorm.
Now, is that something that
Basically-
lasts all day, or is that like
Again, it's like a thunderstorm. It might rain all day, but the initial event of the front coming in or the storm cell hitting you is usually more violent than the rain the rest of the day.
Okay.
So you know what a summer lightning storm looks like how you get heat lightning, as we call it?
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what that
of
is?
course. Yeah.
Okay. So imagine that colliding with a snowstorm at the same time, and the visibility is next to none.
Okay.
That's essentially what it looks like. Um, but I mean, to be 100% honest, I mean, they're saying like 5 to 6 feet of snow. I mean, granted, okay, I get that. That's a lot of snow. I get it. You could bring in the trucks and plow the snow. Plow the field.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably take a lot of work to get the whole stadium cleaned up for it to be usable. I get that. But here is where I have a problem.
Real quick,
with
Ali, if you don't mind me interrupting a second, if they were to start on it and pay the guys to
Maintain it.
keep guys in shifts, just sitting there plowing it before it gets more than 2 inches thick on the field at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got a wall of snow around the field, but you've got a clear field for the most part, at least to the levels that we've seen them comfortably play on in the past. By the way, that past being 1990 divisional playoff game between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills, who put a 40 burger on us that day because we had no idea how to run in the snow.
Well, and that's the thing. You got, just as a quick example, Lambeau Field, dude, where there's a will, there's a way. You can't give me this shit that the NFL darlings, and that's exactly what they are. Because, a side note, in my opinion, it's starting to look a lot like the teams that are generating the most money and the most attention is the ones that the NFL are going to cater and pander to, right? But when you have Lambeau Field, for instance, that thing gets dumped on. It's an open roof stadium. It gets completely dumped on. It's a very snowy area. Winters are really bad there, and yet they still have games there. And you know what they do? They let season ticket holders and just people in general. They get literally people from the community that live by Lambeau Field. People will even come in just for this event prior, like hours before the game starts, to shovel each and every single row and all of the stands, clean off all of the chairs, and then they all do the same exact thing down on the field itself to get any residual snow that the what they call that pipe, the heat pipe system they installed, whatever that doesn't get, So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just
The thing that bothers me the most, DTA, is the fact that the NFL has given another route for the Buffalo Bills to get away with the shenanigans that they're trying to pull off. Because here's the deal. Why did you move it to an indoor stadium? Why did it have to be an indoor stadium?
right.
Why did it have to be a dome or whatever the
Right? Why
Buffalo
did they
Bills
move
play?
it to Lambeau?
Why did they move it
Yeah,
to Lambeau?
The Packers don't have to play there this week.
Yeah, exactly. And it's outdoors, so it's fair for both teams. Because
Yeah.
you know that if they need perfect conditions to win, that the Buffalo Bills is getting the advantage out of that.
Right.
Right. So, and let's take it a step further. What you've done is also you've given an advantage to the Buffalo Bills again to play against the Lions. Why?
Yeah.
Because now they'll have 2 weeks. They already know how to play on the surface already. They're already comfortable because they're probably not going to leave Detroit. They'll just stay there all week. Everybody knows it.
Wow, I
Right?
didn't even think
Why
about
leave?
that. Yeah.
So they have an advantage against the Lions now. Again, the NFL, I'm saying to people, I know you guys are probably like, this guy is whack job or something. I don't care. The NFL is sticking their hands and messing with the integrity of the game, and that's the truth. That is the truth.
Can I ask another question?
They're
go ahead.
paving a way.
DTA, let me land for a second, then we'll let color, and then we'll let you. We'll try to make this. I'm sorry. You look at it. They conveniently schedule teams that have some freaking storyline going on in the news. Like, who was our primetime game? The celebration for, the 50th anniversary. Oh, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers, who has hired our former coach. That was convenient. You look at the whole Deshaun Watson thing when he had his original suspension. He was supposed to come back for the Miami Dolphins game conveniently. Then when that didn't happen, he conveniently was coming back for the Texans game. You think this stuff happens on, by accident? No, it's on purpose. Everybody knows it's on purpose. Why? Because the story sells tickets. It's all about money. Everybody knows that everyone complained because the Buffalo Bills didn't get a chance in overtime when they lost in 13 seconds. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what happened. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to fit the agenda and their narrative so they can control the winner of the Super Bowl and they can just control and weep off all the benefits themselves. That's what the NFL is doing. Let's be real, people. Go ahead, Guller.
Well, I was gonna say, well, sort of in the form of a question. Are we in some kind of new paradigm where a meteorological event just appeared out of nowhere called thunder snow? Like, have we never in the 50-some year history of the NFL had a game, conditions like this where they had to move a game? Like, this is the first time anybody's ever heard of thunder snow? I mean, I get people like us and DTA where it don't snow as quite as much as people think, even though it's in the Northwest. But I mean, this isn't a new phenomenon. This is a regular occurrence in Kansas City or St. Louis back when they used to have a football team. Now they had a dome there, but I mean, still, I mean, and another thing, maybe we're a little slanted here, guys. Maybe we're being a little unfair. I don't know. Because hear me out a second. We do happen to be the only team that's ever gone undefeated in a regular season, which means that year we won in the heat of Miami. We won in the snow of Buffalo or the cold of Buffalo. I'm sure we played Pittsburgh that year. We played in the salty air of Southern California. We traveled all over the country. And we won every single one of our ball games. I ain't trying to hear the Buffalo Bills can't play in snow in their own stadium. That's not our problem. At least Marv Levy saw fit to get Thurman Thomas in a good running game going on. But because you all didn't see fit to stack your team with a running game, the entire rest of the league gets to watch you get an advantage by moving your game to another stadium, a stadium that you have to play another game in 4 days later to an highly inferior team. It just makes no sense to me.
Well, and that's the thing, Kohler, is I guess here's my thing, right? And again, and I want to reiterate this because I don't think, look, I know that you and I think alike. So I know that this has to be a question that you're probably asking the same as I am. Make effing sense to me. You're bitching about the weather, of which is to be expected yearly. So this is an annual thing.
Right.
It's not going to go away. It's going to continue to happen. This is something that, it's coming. You premeditatedly know that it is going to snow in effing Buffalo, dude. And
we're not even talking about weather, DTA. It's climatological. It is their climate.
100%.
It is guaranteed every year.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And so the irony, again, why are you building a fucking open air stadium of which, to what effect? Are you going to leave every time it fucking snows? That makes no sense to me. And it's upsetting because here's where I kind of segue into my next point. Okay, you've got teams like Buffalo and the Kansas City Chiefs, teams like that make a lot of money for the league. They're highly popular, household names. People that don't even like those teams know many of the showcase players on those teams. Okay, they're household names. They make a lot of money for the league, and we can all admit that. Now, call it a broken take. Sure, shit sounds like one in my head, but I almost get a little bit of a whiff, the aroma, the fragrance, if you must, of rigging the game, messing with the integrity of it. How are you going to sit here and tell me that you're not affecting or effectively manipulating the outcome of a season, right? It's kind of weird.
Or at least attempting to affect.
Attempting to, yes. At the very least, attempting to. Because, and here's this scenario, for example. You have Buffalo, right? Josh Allen could be very well could be injured. We don't know. They haven't really told us. I mean, we know he's injured, but we don't know to the extent and to the degree of which it's affecting. But obviously, if you've got eyeballs and you watch the damn game, you can see that his throws are off and everything. So in my mind, I have the scenario all planned out, or not planned out, but I have this scenario going on in my head, right? Where I see the darling Buffalo Bills of the NFL. This is their poster team. And you've got a Josh Allen who isn't playing at his best. You've got a team who's not winning. Guy leads the league in interceptions at this moment. And you've got this team that they want because it sounds good. It's a fucking great storyline. It fits their narrative. It's exactly what they want. They want the Buffalo Bills to make a deep run in the playoffs. Hell, they probably want them. They're already making them as Super Bowl favorites before the season even started. The NFL wants their money-making team in the Super Bowl. But when they're playing like shit and you've got an injured Josh Allen, you've got a team that's not living up to par, and this is the poster child of the league, it seems kind of ironic that now you're going to try to attempt to manipulate the outcome of the season by giving them a leg up when this team is 6-3, just slid into third in the AFC East, but you have to ensure that you somehow, some way deliver them to where they're, to the end game, the end result in the postseason. Here, no one will even notice. We'll blame the fucking weather. We'll blame the weather, and that'll give Josh Allen perfect, no crosswind, no inclement weather, no snow, no rain, nothing in this path to destroy the season. We got to set him up. We're going to put him on this soapbox, right? And in doing so, we're going to give him perfect conditions so that he's got no reason why he can't go in and beat the Cleveland Browns and then turn around and beat the Detroit Lions, get that record back up.
Well, another thing too, and I hate to breach the question, but there could be a double reason, not an alternative reason, not an ulterior motive, a double reason in this whole thing. The less games that Cleveland wins, the less chance Deshaun Watson has of making a run when he gets here, to the NFL and making the league look bad by having a champion that is going through the legal stuff he's going through.
Wait, isn't he playing in this game or no?
No, he's playing. No. He won't be playing till like December 4th, I think is the date. But he has been practicing with a team, so he will be.
Wait, Color, he comes back for their Texans game whenever they play the Texans. That's
right. Yeah, he was cleared to practice, and then
he's going to be practicing with the team. So I mean, yeah, there might be some rust, but a guy like him will knock that off in the first quarter. You know what I mean?
I don't know, Color. He didn't look really good in training camp at all.
Whatever. Bro, so. Whatever. I don't hold any water to that nonsense, man. Really.
I'm just saying.
I mean, the guy didn't forget how to throw a football. I'm not trying to see. I'm not trying to like. I don't want to be baited into arguing for one Deshaun Watson because it gets me in trouble.
Oh, no. I'm not baiting you to do that, Color. What I'm just saying, making a point is that the guy hasn't played in about 2 years now, I think, right?
Right.
It's getting kind of close to 2 years. And because of that, I think there's more than just 1 quarter of rust he's going to have. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying he doesn't know how to throw the football. I'm not saying that at all.
I mean, it's the Texans.
That is true. It is the Texans,
My only point is if he goes on a roll and they're in the dance and in the Super Bowl, that's not something they want to deal with right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's not hard for them to say, oh, well, you know what? Who's it really hurting? The Cleveland Browns? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Actually, that's a good segue to our next topic, Color.
He's not Deshaun Watson.
Well, not necessarily Deshaun Watson, but his contract. Does that hurt the NFL in the NFL experience?
I don't really know. Cleveland's been wasting money for years. It hasn't really hurt the NFL yet.
Do you think it hurts teams like across the board? Let me give you an example. So he got what, $250 million
something
guaranteed,
like
straight up guaranteed. Well, teams like the Jaguars, which markets are a lot smaller, they may not be able to afford to just give one person that big of a contract. They may not be open to it. Like, I mean, like, do you think that affects other teams or, in their ability to compete at a competitive level? Because let's say that eats up all your cap space or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're basically handicapping yourself from getting the other positional needs. I mean, like, for example, we were talking about this on a Twitter space, but next year we're probably gonna need some corners up in here. You know what I mean? We
Right.
gotta
But
pay
see,
for that.
the people writing those contracts and negotiating that stuff are doing major projections on salary cap increases, across the board. And all that stuff is projecting like majorly upwards and not to slow down anytime soon. So they're really comfortable. And this is what people keep forgetting when they talk about this stuff, or they don't want to believe it, I guess, maybe, or I'm not really sure, because we all don't know for sure. We're not all economists and we're not all, professional NFL bookkeepers and all that and
Yep.
treasurers. But it is a common narrative that the salary cap is gone up and the revenues for the NFL have gone up exponentially and will continue that trend. So they're basing it all on that. And so, because my question to you was going to be, wouldn't that affect any team that way if they burned all their salary cap for a guy like that? And then you think, well, how do these teams pull it off? And it's like, well, because they've got these guys doing these projections just like the NFL does, that no, 250 million guaranteed 5 years from now is going to be like wide receiver money. You know what I mean? I know I'm exaggerating, but just to make the point.
I
Yeah.
just had a question from you two guys, because just to better educate me, I think, and that's what this is all about at the end, is to get educated and get others' opinions, and you guys can help me with this. But how exactly, so like when you say that the salary cap goes up, right, each year, I guess my two-part question, how is it that the owners of the teams make money? Do they make it off just merchandise or what the stadium sells, or do they make it off whatever the league makes?
It's actually profit sharing.
Yeah, the entire league, even the players all get profit sharing. So it doesn't matter. See, like, here's the deal. It don't matter if how many people you have in your stadium versus another. The entire league from top to bottom is making money off of it.
When you buy a Tua jersey, the Buffalo Bills make money.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, even the players get money for all of that.
And so well, how does the
and so well that to
space
answer your question about the cap is based on a percentage of those revenues that the NFL takes in. Like, they factor whatever their algorithm is, says this is what the salary cap is.
Okay.
And they divvy that up, divided by 32. You know what I mean? And it spits out a number that everybody's cap's going to be on average.
Well, yeah, and that's why I didn't know if that was based on what the team made or what the stadium made, or how exactly they, I guess so.
Everything that has an NFL logo on it that sells for money.
So in short,
I say jersey sales because it's a good placeholder. You know what I mean? For that, but it's more than just jersey sales.
So in short, then all merchandise, all food sales, all alcohol, like everything,
soda
gets lumped in, and the NFL basically have like a bucket. It all goes thrown into a figurative bucket, and then distributed that way.
Correct.
For cap and profits and etc.
Correct. And I'm sure there's somewhere in the contracts and all that the owners get a certain amount. In other words, like their own, it would be like another percentage of that pie that goes that then gets divvied up between the owners exclusively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I believe if you look at 2 CBA negotiations ago, that was the big deal, that the owners were getting such more and more money and billions of dollars.
Same with the baseball.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of like, how they finally decided, okay, we can do some type of profit sharing here. And I believe it goes up each each year it goes up a little bit more, where the players are getting more into that, higher salary caps, higher potential of making money. In
And
fact, basketball did the same thing.
postseason
NBA
bonus.
did the same thing.
And don't forget about postseason bonuses as well. Those
Yep.
increase because of revenues increasing too. And to Ollie's point about them going up, it just so happens that they're in a bullish trend. It's been in a bullish trend, and is like they don't see any drop in it. So this is why Roger Goodell has so much protection, because the owners, he's making the NFL money hand over fist, and the owners love him for it. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame for that, despite all the little missteps and mistakes and the racism or whatever. Everybody has their beef with the NFL on some level, on some issue. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And everybody wants to blame. Look what happens to Goodell at the draft. He gets booed, and he laughs at it because he knows what he's doing for the NFL and what he's accomplished.
That actually brings up another person, Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders. That's actually a reason why, a lot of the owners are against him. And that's why he's been in the news lately about being voted off the island of the NFL owners, to be honest, because basically what he did with the deposits and stuff and investors and the season ticket holders, he messed with the NFL's money, and they don't like that. So that's essentially what happened.
Wasn't he basically skimming the till?
Essentially, from my understanding, is like the investigation has shown that he was using money that was meant for deposits for season ticket holders, without their basically not letting them know that he's using it for his own benefit or something to that line. Basically, the money that's supposed to be going into the NFL's pockets, essentially, and then divvied out, he was using it before them. That's basically how I see it. So I don't know. I don't know the whole details behind it, but there's a lot of other scandalous things that he's done. That's just one of many on a long laundry list that if the NFL finally grew some balls, they'd take care of him and find a new owner for the Commanders, to be honest. Actually, I think they're trying to sell now, aren't they, Color?
They
There's
are.
something about it. Yeah, they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Oh, about darn time. That's all I can say. But yeah, that's how the NBA is doing a similar thing. They're getting more profit, sharing as well between the players and ownership. So that's where sports world is going. Baseball, on the other hand, I don't know how that works. What the new CBA is, you would have to talk about that, Color.
It's crazy stuff, man. The players are just whining, really, because I mean, baseball is ridiculous because there's no salary cap. So you literally have, you have like guys like A-Rod that are still being paid by the Yankees
and the Texans.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, nice, but hey, it's the Yankees. It's New York, bro. It's still probably a drop in the bucket for what that franchise makes,
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as the NFL goes, this is also why you see the conflict between players and what the owners want and the NFL wants, as far as adding a 17th game and an 18th game, and whether we play an extra preseason game or whatnot, because that's all marketing for the NFL. Another game is like $1 zillion for them alone. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
ad revenue and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Even a preseason game is lucrative. So when they wanted to take the preseason game away, the NFL's like, well, give us an 18th then. You know what I mean? And they they weren't able to get that through yet. What I foresee eventually is a 20-week, 18-game season with forced load management, where every player has to miss a game. And it gets to a point where that becomes the strategy, where your backup quarterback does matter a little more. You know what I mean? Because you've got to play him at least one game of the year, to get your quarterback that rest, plus his 3 buys,
Oh yeah, I completely see that. I can see that. I can see us. I honestly think they could. I mean, I see us heading this way, but I could see us within the next 2 years playing a 20-game season, to be honest.
Well,
It
I
could
mean,
happen.
that's what well, they get in the 20 weeks, you know what I mean? And then they bump it up to 18 games. That's enough of a paradigm shift to last for 10, 15, 20 years before they have to get it up to 20,
Yeah, that's true.
100%.
That's definitely true.
So that'd be
So we
4
got-
months. If you went 24 weeks with a 20-game season, that'd be 4 months of football.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of postseason, I know you guys have some thoughts on who you think's gonna make the playoffs and who's gonna win the Super Bowl. So, DTA, what do you think? Who do you think's gonna make it? Who's gonna be the two that finally make it in the Super Bowl after it's all
All right.
said?
So I have. It's kind of like so. What I did, I've got 4 teams. I've got 2 NFC, 2 AFC teams, and I think it's going to be. There's only 4 different. What does that make, Kohler? Can't do the math in my head. If I have 4 teams, it's only 4 possible combinations, right? Or no, 2. Only 2. I'm retarded. Apparently, I don't know if I can use that word, but 2 combinations, right? So, I've got for the AFC, I've got Miami and I've got Kansas City. And then for the NFC, I've got the Vikings and I've got the Eagles. Those are the 4 teams that I see a Super Bowl scenario amongst. Now, I'm not going to pinpoint and say who is going to be playing who exactly out of those 4 in the Super Bowl, but you know what I mean? One of those or 2 of those 4 teams will be playing in the Super Bowl, one from each side. I would say my sleeper for the AFC would be New York for I'll say the Jets. I'll say the Jets will be my sleeper for the AFC, and then I'm going to say for the NFC, the Seahawks.
Ooh,
All
Geno
right,
Smith.
all right.
Interesting.
So, go ahead, Ollie.
No, go ahead, Colin. That's what
Oh,
I was
just gonna follow up DTA with my thoughts on that, and that's gonna be I'm gonna give a nice broken take for you.
Okay.
I've got the Vikings and the Giants in the NFC Championship game.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Killer. I was thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
I've got Miami and Tennessee in the AFC Championship game.
Huh.
Who did you have for the NFC Championship?
The Giants and the Vikings.
Ooh.
And my dark horse sleepers for each conference. For the NFC, I'm going to go with the Packers. Wait, no, I'm sorry, because they just lost tonight. That's what I was waiting on for them. I'm going to go with the Commies would be my dark horse sleeper for the NFC.
That's a good one.
And my sleeper for the AFC will be the New England Patriots.
Ooh. Bro, you got me with the Commies.
You got the Patriots as a sleeper still?
I do.
Okay.
Look at the Patriots record. Where are you guys sleeping or what? That's why they call them a sleeper, I guess, right?
Well, no, I mean I get it. They're 4 or 5 wins. That's
5-4.
But I mean,
we're 7-3.
When you said the Commanders, though, man, they're
5-5.
They're a team, dude, that could go either way. You know,
well, they're 5-5, and I'm not
sure
talking about them winning the division if they were to get anywhere. But you pull up the conference rankings right now, and you'll see that there is a whole bunch of teams that are right around that 4-5 to 5-4 mark, dude.
They're in the wild card position currently. I'm already
Yeah.
looking at
The
it.
season were to
The
end today.
Commanders?
Commies are a wild card, right?
No. The Patriots.
Well,
the
yeah,
Commanders,
all AFC East teams are in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Commanders are also in the wild card position.
Okay. They are a team. I like that for a dark horse. Like that's a really
That's
good
actually
pick.
kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting because the Commanders are in the NFC East, right?
Correct.
And the Patriots. So all AFC East and NFC East, surprisingly, is in. If the season ended today,
other
make
than
the playoffs.
Vikings, other than the Vikings, it's really the only two divisions that are worth a damn this year in the NFL.
Yeah. So here is
And
my.
Tennessee, obviously.
I'm gonna start off with the NFC first, and then I'm gonna work my way to the AFC, and then I'll give you my Super Bowl. So on the NFC, I could see it be either the Eagles and Vikings, or the Vikings and the Giants. Those are the teams that I think have a really good chance of making it. The Giants, honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Giants just have to find 3 more wins and they guaranteed a playoff spot, to be honest.
Right.
And they have one of the easiest schedules to do it too. So
notice all of us crapping on Dallas. Isn't that great?
Yeah, dude.
Speaking of Dallas, did you guys watch Stephen A today?
Oh,
talking
no,
about
but
the
I
Dallas.
won't catch that. See, y'all
Him
crap on Stephen A. too, but remember, he is the quintessential Packers. Dallas heckler.
Dallas, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I don't give a fuck if they're 7-2. They can kiss my ass. Dallas ain't going nowhere.
Listen to this. So him on First Take, it was him and Orlovsky, right? And they were talking about how the Packers could go on a run. They just have to play a certain way and win this game and everything. And Orlovsky made the comment that something about Dallas could be knocked out of the playoffs if Packers actually went on a run based on the current standings and who they have left to play and stuff and who they expect to win or lose. And all of a sudden, Stephen A is like, what? You're saying me that the Packers could knock Dallas out of the playoff run at this point? And he just started laughing like a mad villain, going like this the whole entire episode.
Yeah,
and Orlovsky was like trying to
about
hold his
A-Rod.
laugh.
Yeah, right, because you know what he says about A-Rod, right? That's
does he
a
say?
bad man.
anyway, it was just funny. So yeah, so I got either Vikings and Eagles in their respective NFC championship game, or Giants in Vikings, or Giants and Eagles. One of those I think could happen very well. More likely it's going to be Vikings and Eagles possibly. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. On the other side, I definitely have us as one of the final two. And I think it's either going to be Kansas City, more than likely, or if the NFL loves their storylines so much and they love their darling Buffalo Bills, it's going to be Miami versus the Buffalo Bills at Miami for the AFC Championship game. That's what I think.
At Miami?
At Miami.
Oh, dude, oh my God.
Because let me tell you, first of all, we already have them beat. If we beat them again, we've already have the tiebreaker, right? Based on where they're at in the standings and everything, I think we would have more of a actually, Color, you might have to correct me on this. I think we would have more of a home schedule than they would if we're higher tier seeded than them, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what would happen. That is what either Kansas City or it's going to be Buffalo versus us in the AFC Championship game. If it's Buffalo, we're playing at home. Just telling you right now.
You don't want
in addition, we don't want that. You said.
Do yourself a favor and look up, because that might be a tricky keyword search to do, but do yourself a favor and look up the percentage of times, the winning percentage of a team that's already beaten a team twice in the regular season, having to face them a third time in the season. I'm telling you, you're not going to like the percentage. It's very, very low. It's like
That's true.
really low,
Yeah.
Ollie.
That's true, but I still think that the NFL would stick their fingers in the manipulate things, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And it's not just it's not just like making things convenient for the team, to be able to move games and stuff. We're also talking about stuff the refs are doing that doesn't make sense, and even this whole concussion protocol. Did you guys watch the Chargers game the other night?
Oh no, brutal.
Freaking
yeah.
Herbert got his neck broken in the game. It looked like they take him off for one series, and they're like, "Oh, yep, you can go back in." But if Tua gets hurt, oh nope, he got to go out of the game. That's such a shame. How dare you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, look how they
see what I'm
pulled
saying?
Teddy out. Look how they pulled Teddy out.
That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things that are kind of crazy. Now, I do have a sleeper that could sneak in, to be honest. And it depends on what happens here, but I actually have the Jets possibly in the AFC Championship game against us too.
Yeah.
It's
and
possible.
Honestly,
I'm like Vegas. I'm just not a believer.
I trust me. I'm with you. But they somehow win. I don't know how they beat the Buffalo.
No, they got a lot of heart. They got a lot of heart.
They beat us, and I didn't expect that to happen. So
they got a lot of heart, and it stems from their coach. It
pains me to say it, but they got dude. Their defense is the truth. But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is I honestly think listen, this is broken take, so I'm gonna give you one. All right, here's a curveball for you guys. I really feel like they tried the whole darling experiment once with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and that didn't work out that well. So now they resort to almost in their mind what would be a sure bet, and that's the Bills. So
see, I don't know how. And again, based on how their team is constructed, the fact that they have to move, let's say if there is conspiratorial stuff going on, right? I'm putting myself in the frame of their logic, right? If we're favoring them or advantaging them because they have no running game to make to compete in the snow like that, then obviously they're not the team that's to be trusted. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're the type of team that will lose with 13 seconds left. They're the type of team that will lose to Jacksonville without even scoring a touchdown. They're the type of team that will lose to the Patriots with the Patriots throwing 3 passes the entire game. That's not the Kansas City Chiefs, bro. When have you ever heard the Kansas City Chiefs failing like that?
Yeah.
Even when they've lost and had a bad game or whatever, it's still they make it respectable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Got to give you guys my Super Bowl take. That's the one thing I didn't tell you.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if DTTA. Did you go all the way to the Super Bowl? I don't think I did.
I did, yeah. I just
okay. I didn't. So give yours, Ollie, and we'll round out.
All right, so I'm gonna go with the NFL loves their storylines, right? In my opinion, if they play the storyline card, which I know they will probably because it sells tickets.
Buffalo.
Nope.
Wait, what?
Miami and our quarterback QB1 Tua versus Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. And it's going to be QB1 versus QB2 all over again, the Alabama story.
1v1?
1v1, dude. That's what happened. If you don't know the story, if you guys don't know the story behind that, people in the audience, when Tua was coming, as a quarterback in college, there was some, I don't know, competition, if you want to call it. I don't know really what the proper word is, but essentially there was a situation where Tua came in and played really good during the national championship game. And there was a time period there where they were basically debating who Alabama should have as their QB1. And the media was pressuring Saban, and he even blew up on a reporter. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but blew up on her about it and everything. And Jalen Hurts eventually transferred out of Alabama. And yeah, and that's where that what stems from. So they've always had this, like, even though they're friends, from my understanding, they're really cool. There's always been some type of storyline of competition between both of them. So that's why I think that
there's a reason they're both wearing number 1.
that is true. That is absolutely true, and that's why I think that would be the perfect Super Bowl. But go ahead,
So
Colin.
do you
What
want
you
it?
got?
We're at an hour mark. Do you want me to give the broken take of the evening for
Yeah,
the Super
We'll finish this. We'll finish this real good. Then
Not
I'll do
gonna
the
like it.
rundown, and then we'll call it a night. Yeah, let's
You're
do
not
it.
going to like it. It's
Welcome
going to
to
be
Broken
based
Take.
on a storyline.
All
And
right.
the storyline is Bill Belichick finally gets his due and defeats Tua in the AFC Championship game. And the New England Patriots face the Washington Commanders in the Super Bowl. That's my broken
Holy
take.
shit! I'm glad you say that for your broken take.
The NFL will not let it happen because it will kill ratings.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. Yeah, that's a hot take, Color. Damn, I'm gonna have a nightmare going to bed now. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you for coming. Hanging out with our premiere episode of Broken Takes on the Finn's Tale 8. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And with that, you got anything last things to say, DTA or Color?
You know the drill. Like and
DTA.
GTA.
Yeah, man. Just,
I mean, we went over this in the show notes.
Just
No, I'm
like-
kidding.
What do you do? What are you supposed to do, DTA? Like and
We're
what?
supposed to like and
like and subscribe.
Thank you very much, man. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming along. And go ahead, DTA. You got
Here's
something
one-
to say?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
You're kind of scratchy now.
Little
but-
scratchy there.
I don't know why it messed up. I was just gonna say, could you imagine a Giants versus Jets?
Oh, gross.
Oh,
Oh, you're terrible.
okay.
You're
That's a terrible take, DTA. Fins up, everybody. With that, we're out.
Fins up.